So recurring dreams are a topic that I've always found to be quite interesting, especially as somebody who has tried to use lucid dreaming as a means of connecting to the unconscious to try and learn more about myself and my experiences and my situation. But I often forget that regular non-lucid dreams can be just as powerful and meaningful and also carry messages that I guess I'm just not as tuned into as I would be with my lucid dreams. So a recurring dream is typically described as a dream that a person has multiple times, not necessarily in succession. It can happen over a short period of time, over a long period of time, and dream will often deal with things that a person has perhaps ignored or not acknowledged, or something that is causing a lot of stress. So this dream kind of plays out multiple times. And I used to have a recurring dream as a child. I only had it a few times, but it was very, very vivid, and it's something that I can still kind of picture quite clearly in my mind. And in this dream, I am sat on my roof and I'm looking out over my back garden, except my garden isn't there, and the sort of street behind that and all those houses aren't there. There's just this massive field that stretches on for miles and miles, and right in the distance on the horizon is this little village that's sort of on this hill, and I really want to go there. I really want to be there. I feel like I need to go there, but I can't. I'm kind of stuck on my roof miles away from this place, just having to watch it and observe the villagers. Even though it's miles away, I can still see them for some reason, but I'm kind of just there watching life happen, and it's pretty easy for me to decode that dream. There's nothing there that's particularly cryptic, I guess. For me, that's an easy one, and I can definitely relate that to that time in my life. And I haven't really had recurring dreams, or at least I didn't think that I had recurring dreams, because that particular dream was always the same, pretty much. Only a few details would change. So I was able to recognise that as a recurring dream. But as I've kind of been looking over my dreams for the past few months, even the past few years, I've started to realise that I do actually have the same dream every night, and I just haven't clicked. So how did I not realise that? Especially as somebody who, does dream work, not as a living really. I haven't managed to make a living out of it, but it's a big part of what I do. And I suppose the reason is that the dream isn't the same every time, but the sort of narrative and plot points are the same. And I always find that I'm typically at school or I'm on holiday, and the holiday can either be a family holiday or like a school trip. So these kind of ideas of school, family and being away from home are quite prominent. And I'll find that wherever it is that I am on this trip, I'm usually staying in like a massive building or hotel that has tons of rooms and corridors, and I usually find that there ends up being secret rooms and secret corridors and rooms within rooms and all these different like passages, and it's basically just like a massive labyrinth that I seem to be able to navigate reasonably well. Like, part of me seems to think that I've been at this place for so long that I know how to get around it, that I know most of its secrets. And usually quite a big storyline within these types of dreams is that there's somebody or something that is after me, and I can never see them. I don't really know what it is, but I'm able to evade it because I know all the secrets of this building. So when I know that I'm in danger, or I feel like I'm in danger, I can, hide quite well from this thing. I can get from one floor to another really quick because I know all of these secret little routes. And another big part of the dream is that it's usually toward the end of my trip, so I need to go home, and I'm trying to pack up all of my things, but I realise that I have so much stuff that I can't physically take it all back with me. I can't physically pack it into bags, and sometimes I'm with people who also have a lot of stuff, and they seem to be able to figure out what to leave behind, whereas I can't. And there's a lot of me just trying frantically to hold everything, to carry everything, to often carry other people's bags as well, and that becomes a massive panic. And then I can never get home. That's like the part of the dream that's usually the saddest or the hardest, or when I wake up I feel the most impacted by, is that I can't get home, or I don't really understand what that means, where home is or what home is. And there'll be some big natural disaster, which means there's no way of getting home, that like all the roads are blocked, there's no transportation, there's nothing, or I'll get on a train but it'll be the wrong train and I'll get taken further away, or I'm at the train station and there's just so many trains and so many platforms, and I've always end up missing my train every time. Whatever is happening, it's always the same idea of I can't get home, or I don't know where home is, and there's a lot of desperation there and feeling like I'm trapped. And it's this idea again of I'm so used to being in this place that I'm always kind of aware in the dream that I won't be able to get home. But yeah, it's again the idea of it being a school trip or being part of school. School was definitely something that had a massive impact on me. It was a very difficult time, as it is for a lot of people, but I guess I had multiple things going on. I started hearing voices, a lot of very negative mental health stuff there, and school was definitely a place where I felt very trapped because I didn't really have much of a voice or much of a say. I couldn't communicate the experiences that I was having. I just didn't know how, and I also didn't want people to think that I was dangerous or crazy or something was wrong with me. Even though I kind of thought those thoughts about myself and I believed those thoughts, I didn't want other people having that same. I didn't want them to confirm those things that I thought about myself. So school, difficult time. I can see why that is part of my dreams. The idea of being trapped and not being able to get home, again, I can see it as being me just in life, feeling very isolated and like I'm not really part of the world because I have all of these experiences that make life very different. It makes life very difficult, and I just don't really know how to integrate with people, I suppose, because I have these experiences, and as time goes on it becomes harder and harder to connect with people because I'm further and further away from people, if that makes sense. The whole baggage thing, well, yeah, exactly, it's baggage, the whole having to decide what to leave behind and what to take with me. Again, having a lot of problems or things that I haven't figured out yet, and those burdening me and holding me back and not allowing me to move forward. It seems pretty clear there. And as well, if the dream is more like a family holiday than a school holiday, I usually find that I'm at Centre Parks, because that's a place that I used to go a lot with my family and still do. But I usually find that, again, it's towards the end of the holiday, I'm having to pack up, I have too much stuff to pack up, and I realise that I've done nothing that I wanted to do on the holiday. I've done everything that other people want to do, and I realise there's all these different places that I haven't explored, that I wanted to explore, that I haven't had time on my own to just be on my own and figure out who I am or what it is that I want to be doing with my time. And another theme as well, which often crops up, is that I'm in pain somehow, whether it's physical or emotional, or something devastating has happened that has really upset me, and it's brought me to the point where I finally have to say something or talk about it, because I can't keep it in. And when I try and talk to a character in the dream, sometimes they can be completely random, sometimes they can be key figures from my life. Either way, whoever they are, they always dismiss me or laugh at me or put me down or tell me that I'm being selfish and that what I'm experiencing isn't really happening, or it's just not that bad. And then there's usually a character in the dream who something incredibly minor has happened to them, and yet everybody is giving them support and being nice to them, and suddenly I'm being selfish for taking space away from that person, even though in the context of the dream what has happened to me has been far more devastating, I suppose, than this other character. So it reinforces a belief that I already have of myself, that no matter what, does other people come before me, even if their problem is this big and mine is massive, my problem is still smaller compared to theirs, which isn't something, that's not necessarily a message that people have conveyed to me directly, although perhaps at some times it has been. It's more of an indirect thing that I've kind of picked up on, and even though that isn't necessarily a true reflection of reality and what's happening, I guess that's how I experience it, and I have just built up this belief that, not that I don't matter, but I don't know, it's difficult because I don't talk a lot about what I experience and what I have experienced, because I do believe that people are gonna trivialize it, mock it, laugh at it, just belittle it. And I suppose because I've forced things away, I as well have kind of made myself believe that. So without going massively into things, it's interesting that this style of dream happens every night, and I guess why I didn't realise it was a recurring dream was because it wasn't like it was exactly the same word for word the same dream. It's just that the same themes, the same motifs, the same kind of structure and narrative is always there. And I have other dreams as well, but I will definitely have at least once a night a dream that is like that. And that's been really kind of, I don't know if it's been difficult to observe and look at, but it's definitely kind of surprised me that I hadn't figured that out beforehand. And I guess because I'm so wrapped up in trying to get lucid and trying to connect to my voices and all of that stuff through a lucid dream, that I often forget the importance of regular dreams, of my unconscious or subconscious trying to communicate ideas through just your regular non-lucid dreams. So it'd be really interesting to hear from any of you about any recurring dreams that you've had, whether it's similar to mine or something completely different. You might have recurring dreams that you don't think are particularly meaningful, but it would be really cool to hear from people. I really like talking to people about their dreams and all of that stuff. So thank you very much for watching, guys. If you would like to support me on Patreon, then feel free to check out my link below. I will be making changes to that soon. I'm making changes to everything, so watch this space. So yeah, feel free to check that out. You can also check out my Redbubble page. Again, that's all going to get changed soon, but if you would like to support me by buying some of my designs, then I would really appreciate that. And as ever, there is a 20% discount on Vivid Dream products. There is a code and a link in the description box, so feel free to also check that out. Thank you very much, guys. I have been Max, aka the Rara Rabbit, and I'll see you in the next video.